Today on SVG News, Cyberpunk 2077 taps into its namesake genre by force-feeding corporate misinformation to the masses. But first, isn't it just lovely when the universe corrects itself?
Karma's a and then you die.
To say that the launch of next-gen consoles has been a frustrating experience for consumers would be underselling things a bit. One of the biggest issues facing customers right now, and a problem that may end up haunting this console generation, is the fact that scalpers and bots have bought up a great number of the available stock of PS5 and Xbox Series X consoles.
Hey, I'm just trying to make an honest buck.
Oh, get lost, you blood-sucking parasite.
In turn, these scalpers have taken to reselling consoles for exorbitant amounts of money, and many desperate customers have resigned themselves to paying these prices in order to get a console for the holidays. Now, however, the fans are fighting back. Over on the Scam the Scalpers subreddit, gaming fans are sharing their stories about how they managed to get revenge on some unscrupulous scalpers. The stories range from simply annoying these would-be resellers to fully tricking them, and they're a pretty amusing read. If you're one of the folks who missed out on a new console, and you're bummed out over the number of consoles that were bought only to be resold, then these tales of petty scalper pranking may act as a balm.
Got what he deserved.
Some of the best stories in the subreddit involve customers arranging meetings to buy a console only to never show up. One Reddit user shared screenshots of a conversation of one scalper whom they talked into selling 3 PS5 units. According to this user, they then had the seller drive about an hour and meet them at a Goodwill, where the original poster never showed up. Instead, they recommended that the scalper donate the consoles to the Goodwill while they were there. In a particularly clever move, one Redditor arranged for 2 different scalpers to meet each other, effectively wasting both sellers' days. One commenter suggested that this could have actually been the start of a scalper romance if the 2 resellers managed to meet and hit it off.
Oh, they're in love.
On my face!
Another post shared a conversation with a scalper who wanted an absurd $1,500 for a PS5 console. This user claimed that they intended to have the scalper drive out to meet them, only for them to then say they decided to buy an Xbox instead. Of course, there are plenty of other wilder stories on the subreddit that should be taken with a grain of salt, but most of these tales of scalper revenge seem to be legitimate. While it is unlikely that these stories will put scalpers off of doing what they do best, being the worst, it is likely to bring a smile to the faces of everyone who has been frustrated with the number of unscrupulous console resellers out there. Next up, we're not sure we'd call what CD Projekt Red is doing to its fans bullying, but we just really wanted to use this clip.
Get your hands off me! I've heard about this in the news. You're cyberbullying me!
After waiting 8 years for Cyberpunk 2077, audiences have come to a realization that the game failed to live up to expectations. Despite critics showering the title with praise, gamers, especially those who bought Cyberpunk 2077 for the Xbox One or PlayStation 4, became furious when the game ran poorly on almost all available platforms. That was only the beginning of problems for the game's developer, as they are now caught in a web of mishaps, and seemingly no amount of leftover goodwill from The Witcher 3 can untangle it. Thanks to the unrelenting masses of displeased gamers, CD Projekt Red promised refunds. Except they didn't exactly deliver.
That was some pretty bad acting. Really ought to explore other career options.
The company is actually passing refund responsibility off to stores. Bought Cyberpunk 2077 at Best Buy? Bring your game and receipt and hope they can help you. Purchase a game from the Xbox or PlayStation digital storefront? Request a refund through their respective companies. CD Projekt Red will only consider helping you once you exhaust all other options, but only if you email the studio before December 21st. Gamers who are already disgruntled are now absolutely livid.
Fool me once, fool me twice. Fool me chicken soup with rice.
The response to CD Projekt Red's refund news has been fairly negative. Some Twitter users have blasted CD Projekt Red's CEO, claiming he lied when he reassured investors Cyberpunk 2077 runs surprisingly well on the Xbox One and PS4. Other commenters have also insinuated that CD Projekt Red isn't as sorry as it lets on, primarily because the company recouped development costs on pre-orders alone. Why should a company worry about a few refunds when it already turned a profit? While most of the negativity negativity stems from annoyed Xbox One and PS4 owners, quite a few PC players are also calling out CD Projekt Red for Cyberpunk 2077's launch date. Although the PC version is more stable, it isn't immune to the occasional hiccuping line of code. Meanwhile, several commenters are less concerned with the game's performance and would rather tear into CD Projekt Red for breaking its no-crunch promise and more egregiously, quote, putting a gag order on keys to prevent reviews from leaking performance problems. The general response is not universally negative. Some gamers are giving CD Projekt Red the benefit of the doubt, since video game launch bugs are par for the course these days. Still, the company's honeymoon period is undoubtedly over. At this point, who knows if Cyberpunk 2077's Xbox One and PlayStation 4 user Metacritic scores will ever recover.
Attention, I have been murdered. Attention, I have been murdered. Attention, I have been murdered.